嘛？
我刚才找之前第一个组跟我们去聊，问他有个项目怎么处理，我也跟他播通视频，他开口第一句啊，我下周去 FRL 了，笑死。
都在找那个坑呢。都在找那边的坑。
那个也是个6。
你已经晚了，你先把绿卡搞定吧。
Me and said it's not good. I thought, oh no, not.
Okay, shut up.
मुझे आई वो नहीं है
Why should I try reaching this now? So I'm just thinking about it. Cool. I did think about it earlier in the day because I was like, we have to talk about something. Sure. Cohesive. Yeah. And then like the next thing can be, what are some of your favorite K dramas? And maybe what is something that you crave so much watching a K drama?
Oh, good question.
Yeah. No, I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, and so is that poor guy down there. Oh, it's me, John. Have you got my brush? I've been able to save my reaction kit. Quick, take her down. That'd be fun for us to go stay. You know what's fun is you guys.
How you doing over there?
Russell apparently is in San Diego. Oh, is that good? I was talking about an email saying thanks for the invite, but no thanks. Well, I thought he was coming. So Russell.
Sit. Willow, sit.
She says that I'm a real tree. So who knows?
Eat your food. Here.
Taylor was telling us. Russell telling us. His thought basically was one unique. Right.
Anything in an old-fashioned guy,
Yeah, we're on the same level now. Yeah. Your mom. Seven. Okay. Oh, 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 you are looking so fine. How many people are reading? How many?
Has the quiz started?
Hello, everyone. You all hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
All right. All right. Let's see. So I believe we have a quiz today. Let me make it. I'll remove the password so that everybody can get in without the need of password. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so no password. And no password. Okay. All right, there should be no password now. You should be able to get into the quiz. All right, is everybody able to get into the quiz?
Yeah.
All right, if you have a question, please type it into the chat.
Professor, I think there's an error with question 4.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's a typo on question 4. Can you ever see my screen?
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, this B is supposed to be Y, and this A is supposed to be X.
Where are you going? Sure is. Yeah. See ya.
Okay, everybody, please mute their mic. Yeah, to confirm again, A is X and B is Y. Correct. The second argument should be Y, not B. Yes. I will make a post on Piazza, and again, if there's I'll probably call it quiz 4 regrade or something, and you can post to that if there's any error that you see. Please please reply there, and the TAs will take a look at it. And for the hello world, you could use just hello world. You don't have to put the bang, the exclamation point, or I don't believe the comma either. Just the 2 words, hello and world. All right, I think we're done, right? Let's see how everybody's doing.
It says there's 11 minutes left.
Oh, there's still 11 minutes.
There's tomato dump.
Okay. You shouldn't have to have more than 1 word per blank, but let me see. Oh, maybe. The component is used as follows. Message, which renders a message attribute in an H1 heading. Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, that makes sense. Priyal. And Matsegi. Let me see. Yeah, question 4. Remember Y. Oh, okay. That's correct. X and Y. Question 5. K should close C. Yes. In question 5.
Could I ask a question, or should I wait for after the quiz?
Is it something you need for the quiz right now?
Oh,
Otherwise,
no.
you have to wait.
No.
Yeah, no, only quiz questions right now.
Okay.
Nick, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, A is X and B is Y. Should not be in K.
Professor, on question 4, you said A is X.
Question 4. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, you said
Yeah.
A was X, right?
Yeah, on some versions of that question, A is X and B is Y.
So do we follow which structure? The structure from the code or the structure from the blurb above it?
No, okay, so there's a version of the question where it is correct, X is X and Y is Y. There's another one, there's a typo, which I believe I fixed, is that where you see B is really X, and where you see, where you see A is X, where you see B is Y.
Okay, so we can just type in X or Y for an answer, right?
For the first argument, it's X, and the second argument is Y.
Yes.
So the order matters. The first argument is X, the second argument is Y. Correct, Brian. No, let me answer. Okay, I think it looks like most folks are done. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, most folks are done here. And let's see. All right, awesome. Just a couple more folks who are finishing up. All right, so we're wrapping up the second class in the 8th week, I believe we're in. Wow, already the 8th week. Yeah, so we introduced React.js earlier last week. We recently introduced Redux on Tuesday, right? And we're gonna keep working on that for the rest of the semester. We're gonna be doing lots and lots more with Redux. And yeah, about regrades, the TAs are working through several of the regrade requests that we have been receiving. Again, we're going to create a thread for the quizzes and the exams so that you can reply to them, and you can and then the TAs and myself are just going to go through those requests and grade for everybody. I believe there was a student had a quick question.
Yes, just on assignment 6, the prior assignments were a little bit more specific about what we should be showing on our Netlify page. So for assignment 6, is there any specific, like, is there like an example of how it should look? I know like the non-React assignments will be at the bottom, but in regards to the other pages.
Assignment 6. Okay, we could go over it specific. Yeah, let's take a look real quick on that assignment and what you mean by that. So for instance, this one, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there was like a deployed example of what it should look like.
You mean for the build part?
Yeah, the build, and then also with the challenge.
So build says again React function. Okay, so you're mostly porting everything, and so wherever you're porting from the previous assignment 5 should look the same thing as assignment 5, but instead of them being implemented as JavaScript and jQuery implementation, string manipulation, they are now using React, right? But it should look exactly the same.
Yes.
Styling. Yep. Who to follow this just walks you how to port one for the other. You know, before what it used to be, and now they're fully JSON objects, so that should be the same. This one as well, right? To that we are converting from one implementation to another implementation. Explode component. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this one's not really asking you to implement any new screens. We're just importing, bringing out the. So yeah, it should look like this, right? The Explorer screen from the, which is pretty much what we had in the previous assignment, but now is fully implemented as a React JS application.
So should that just show up on top of the index.html?
Right, down below, you should still have the links to the older assignments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although that looks pretty ugly, I know.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. I guess
yeah,
like...
you're welcome to remove those once you are certain that you have been graded. If you know that you've got a grade from assignment whatever 2, 3, whatever, you're welcome to remove them. But if you haven't yet gotten a grade on that assignment, please leave the link so that the TAs can go in and check it out.
Okay. Yeah.
And
yeah,
should we also leave the links for like the practice on this page?
So I believe what I'd ask you to do is that the top this the bird, the first link at the top should link to the practice.
Okay.
And then
this
from the
might be
practice, it links back to the build. So you can go back between them.
okay. Is there like, would we just use like the link thing then, or like,
Well,
is there a way to link to other pages using like href in React, or like we do
no,
something?
I think there's a post on Piazza on
Okay.
how to do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
On the challenge, basically it's you have the same left-hand side for the challenge. You have the same right-hand side, so that doesn't change. What changes is the middle for the home screen, which should look like this, right? It's just two tweets using new components. I believe they call them post. Create. Oh yeah, you go to the home, so you can navigate to the home, and to use components to render that in the home screen. Now, this was a challenge in A6. In A7, I am giving you, well, I'm walking you through creating the home screen, right? So everybody's going to get a chance to create the home screen from more or less from scratch. And for the graduates, I'll give you another challenge. Right. So again, so we had we've been working Redux for the last couple of weeks. I'm sorry, React for the last couple of weeks, and we recently introduced Redux earlier this week. And it's as I mentioned, right, it's a library that's going to allow us to maintain state in an application. And so we distinguish between two types of states. We distinguish about a state that is local to the component, and we have state that is application-wide state, right? And we demoed that in our last meeting. We talked about how to use the hooks to handle the local state, use state and use effect to handle local state. And then we talked about the two other hooks that allows us to interact with the store to be able to retrieve data from the store and send back data into the store, right? And for that, we introduced the use selector and the use dispatch hooks. Today, we're going to demonstrate it again. We're going to play with that some more and get you going with the assignment. The TAs are working on the grading all the assignments. We should have assignment 4 soon. Maybe tomorrow should assignment 4. You should start seeing grades coming back for that. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to introduce A6. It'll be due a week from Sunday. Okay. So yeah. So starting this Sunday, you have another week. So you'll have over the weekend, and then you have until next Sunday. And so let me show you what the assignment is about, and then towards the end of the lecture, I like to discuss the project. All right, so from now till the end of the semester, you should definitely start, working on the project, identifying who your teammates are and what is it that you're going to be working on. I'm going to release on. I'm going to create teams on Canvas. And if you could please join one of those teams. What I suggest is that when you get to the groups that I'm going to create, that someone from your team join one group, and making sure to join a group that is not already joined, right? And so once you have joined that group, let the other team members know which group to join. So if you join group number 3, right, successfully, just tell your other teammates to join that group, and you'll all be in that group. I remember there being some issues in Canvas, not being able to leave a group. If you do have, if you need help or somehow Canvas doesn't let you either join or leave a group, please let us know, and we'll help you out, right? But hopefully it'll go smooth. Please, I'll create the groups tonight, and perhaps but over the weekend everybody can join groups, and then next week we can start planning out the final project. Okay. Yeah, so let's take a look at the current assignment, and I'm gonna see where we can help you out. Let's see. So this is assignment 6. Let me close that. Yeah. So assignment 7. So assignment 7, the assignment is all about managing state in a React.js application. Okay, and this is managing state on the client side. Right. That's a question in the chat saying, what should the expectation be for a group, a 2-person group? Yes, about the size of the group. We discussed this early on in the semester, and my suggestion was that the group should be between 2 and 3-person groups. Although we will accept folks who want to go it alone and 1-person group, or groups up to 4 people together in the same group. My personal opinion is that 4 people to a group is too big. It makes it much harder to collaborate, and it is my experience that oftentimes those groups, one of the students doesn't participate as much as the other ones would like. And there's always some drama at the end of the semester about so-and-so didn't do as much work as much as I did. I had to do the whole thing. I don't want to have any of that drama. Okay. It's your choice to go into types of group. Make sure that you choose someone you can rely on, that they're going to help you out in the project, that they're willing to put as much effort as you are. And it's very little that I can do. I don't have a view into what happens within that dynamic. So make sure that if you don't feel comfortable that folks are going to be working out, maybe a smaller group, okay, or maybe do it alone. But definitely, I want to try to avoid those dramas at the end of the semester, please. Yeah. Okay. So the assignment. So yeah, so we are going to be focusing on working with Redux. We ask you to, like other assignments, right? We ask you to copy the old content into new content, into a new directory. So everything you had from A6 and A6 practice and A6 build, copy it over, because we're going to be reusing a lot of what's in there. And then obviously you'll have to modify a couple of the paths and the links. So for instance, in the new practice, right? In the new practice, you'll need to link to the new build, right? Because all the other ones were linking to A6, right? So you'll need to go in the practice, right, and change the A6s to A7. You'll also you'll also have to add routes to support the old routes. All the ones are under A6, and this is all under the source directory, right? Because remember, ever since we started with React.js, we've been working in the source directory, not the public directory. Okay, so yeah, so all these components are in the source directory. Yeah, so you'll need new routes. You already have had routes for A6 and maybe A7, A5 maybe. So you want to be able to support all those old ones, plus these new routes for A7. Also the build, right? The build is which is in the index directory, in the index file. We're going to break it up into 2 components in there, right? Most of you right now only have 1 component, the explore screen. We're going to add a new screen called the home screen. Okay, and now some of you might have already worked on the home screen from a previous challenge, and here I'm going to get you going on that. I'm going to give you some code that you can reuse and to get you going with the home screen. And so if you don't have it yet, right? If you don't have the home screen yet, that's fine. You can comment this out for now. You can comment it out and you can come back to it once you have the home screen. Remember, if you leave it there, it's going to complain that you don't have the, you don't have the home screen. It's not going to compile. So so make sure you do things in the right order. And if you don't have a component, you can just comment it out for now or come back to it a little later when you do have it. In the navigation sidebar, if you remember, this will be a copied version from A6. So you'll need to update the all the links to refer to correct A7, right? So this is just reminding you how to get it going. I would suggest internet cutting off a bit. Was A7 supposed to be public? A7 is in the, all the work that we're working right now, it's all on the source directory, not the public directory. It's cutting out a little bit. Let me see.
Oh, no, just my internet, Professor.
Oh, yours, okay. Yeah, no, I'm at 800 megabits. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Okay. Yeah, I would suggest that before starting, right? I would edit all the navigation sidebars. I would edit the build. I would edit the routes in the practice. Make sure that A7 works just as well as A6 did, right? Make sure that you're starting from a clean slate. That you don't have anything. That I copied it right? Did I forgot to copy something? Make sure that when you copy A6 to A7, make sure that A7 works just as well as A6. Okay, and now you have a clean slate, and you can start adding things and components and whatnot. Okay. Okay, so there. That's the React side of this, right? Now we're going to get into the meats of what you are asked to practice this for this assignment, right? And the focus of this assignment is Redux or state management in general, right? So we ask you to install Redux, right? And so let's see, for this should be in source component. Yes, correct. Yeah, so we install Redux, and to install Redux, you are going to use npm install Redux. That's going to take about a minute or so, so just let it run all through. All these commands are at the command line, so make sure that to remember to do this at the command line, right? And I'm at the root of the project, right, where you have the Git, where you have your Git repository, where you have package.json, right, at the root of your project. Run npm install Redux. Okay, so it's going to take a minute or so. And so this is the core library for the Redux state management library. Okay, this declares all the core functionality. And then after that, you're going to install the React Redux. Right? So React Redux is what glues React to Redux. Okay, so Redux is a library for state management that is not specifically for React. It could be used by anybody. It could be used by plain JavaScript applications. It can be used by Angular applications, Ember applications. Anybody can use Redux for state management. Okay. So what the React Redux library does is that it glues them, right, by creating things such as the provider, right, the connect library, which we haven't seen, which marries these two technologies, right, the React technology and the Redux technology. Yeah, so install that, and then it asks you to create some really simple examples, which we covered earlier this week, right? We ask you to create a hello world Redux example. So all these examples, we're going to ask you to put them all together in one single place, right? So we're going to ask you to, under the Redux examples directory, you're going to create an index of a file there that this is going to be our home for all our Redux examples, right? So we're going to have a hello world example. We're going to have a to-do application, right? And so that you practice how and gaining those skills on using Redux. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be the wrapper of all those examples that you're going to be working on. Okay, you just have to link it into the practice component, right, where you have a the build, right, and you have the Redux example plus all the examples you've been working for the last couple of weeks are going to be there, right? So we're asking you, so ... means you're going to have other examples in there, right, from that you worked on A6, so it's going to live there. So right above that, right, you're going to add this Redux examples, right? It's just going to contain all the ones, including the hello world. Right, so we're going to start working on the hello world. And it all starts with creating the reducer, right? So let's see, I'll show you that. Where I have it here. Let's see. Oh, that's the project. Oh, that's not it. Is that it? Temp? No. I don't remember where I put it. Is this it? Let's see. Oh, that's not it. Where put it? All right, I put it in the wrong place. Anyway, it's the same code that I'm giving you here. You'll create the hello world reducer, right? That if you remember, right, it's just a function. It's a simple function that comes back with some data, right? And that's the data that is going to be used by the component, right? Before, all the examples that we've seen so far, the data and the component live in the same place, right? The component loads the file, right, a JSON file, and then it uses this to iterate over that data and whatnot, right? So we don't want, that's static data, right? We don't want static data, we want dynamic data, right? We want to be able to create new data, remove data, update data, right? And so to do that, the data needs to be calculated over time, right? It needs to know that based on certain actions, it needs to be, edited and whatnot, right? So to do that, instead of using the data all by itself, right, whether it's an array or an object, whatever it is, right? Instead of just loading the data, instead we're going to wrap it inside of a function, and this function can now, because it's a function, it's going to be able to calculate what that data should be based on whatever criteria, right? If you want to add new to-dos, then it'll add to this data, right? If you want to remove a to-do, it'll remove, and it'll calculate this without that particular to-do, right? But a function needs to do that dynamically. Okay, so there. So the way it works is that instead of working with just static data, we're going to wrap whatever data it is that we want to be able to manipulate. We're going to wrap it inside of a function, and that function is going to calculate. Right now, this function is not really calculating anything, since it's it's always returning the same thing, right? It's always returning this JSON object. But you understand that because it's in a function, I can put if statements and loops, and I can do all sorts of logic, right, on deciding what this should return. Okay. Anyway, so that's the data right now. It's coming back from the function. And on the other side, you have the component that wants to display the data, right? So you have the data lives in one place, and you have the component that wants to render that data, right? And so somehow these need to be glued, right? So how do I get the data to the component so the component can read it? Before, the component just did import, right? Did an import on a JSON file, and it already has the data. Boom, it's done, right? And the question is, well, why are we not doing that anymore? And the fact is that, well, that data that we're loading is static, right? It can't change over time. I want to be able to change over time. That's what state does. Right? State mutates over time. So yeah. So here's the component. Here's my really stupid component. Doesn't do much, right? It just wants to render something, right? It wants to render the message. And where's the message? Oh, that function over there is generating that message. Okay. And so if you remember, we have this object right there. See that object has an attribute message and then the data, right? And so notice that what we're doing here is that here's the message, right? This message over here. We want to retrieve it, right? Extract it from this nebulous thing, right? And then display it, right? So the question is, well, how do we glue these two worlds? How do we glue these two worlds? Okay, right. So the way it's going to be glued is through this function called the use selector, right? Which is part of the Redux library, React Redux. Okay, and the way it's going to work is that if you declare here using the use selector, you give it a function. This function will be invoked by Redux, by this nebulous thing, right? It will call you, pass you it will call this function that you are providing, and then in that function you can extract whatever you want from this, from where you're storing this data. Okay, in this case, we're extracting that message, right? And we're storing it in a local variable so that we can then display it. Okay. Anyway, so still we need to know, well, who's calling this function, right? And then so how does that happen? What's the magic behind that? Well, the magic behind that is what we call the provider. The provider, right, is the one who is passing the overall data that is being stored in there, and who stores it? This guy. These functions, whatever this function returns is going to be stored in a store, and then that store is then provided for all the applications to read from and pluck out whatever they want from there. Okay, so the mechanism is as follows. You bring in the function that is producing the data. In this case, is our hello, right? It's in the reducer, and so we bring in the function that is producing the data. Notice that it is producing, right? It's producing it by returning something. Okay. We then using the store create store, we take the producer, the hello that's producing the data, and we create a store, right? Where all these functions, right? These reducer functions, they're going to dump all this data into the store. Right now, we only have one tiny little, dumb producer of data, right? Just a hello reducer, right? Is the only one who's generating the data. It's the only one who's dumping its data into a store. But later on, we're going to have several others. We're going to have the to-do reducer. We're going to have several others, right? The counter reducer that we played around last class, right? And so once you put it in the store, we can then provide the store, right? All the data that is going to this bucket of data, we can dump it. Okay, we can dump that data, right, onto the rest of the application, right? And it's going to trickle down, right? All this data is just going to touch every component. It's going to go all the components. It's going to say, hey, did you want something from this store? Right? If you don't like, this H2 doesn't care about this store, and this div doesn't care. Ooh, but this guy, right, the hello Redux example component did say that it did want something from that store, right? So the store passes and calls this function and passes the state, all the data that is in the bucket, right? And then you can pick out what part do you want from this data bucket, right? What do you want from that data bucket? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's how the hello component retrieves the data and then displays it. All right. Yeah. Okay. So right, to take a look at a much more involved example, we work with a to-do example. I'm going to work the example again, right? Because I want you to, again, just follow along, and once you practice it, right? I know that at first there's too many moving parts. Redux is very well known to have a very steep learning curve. Okay, so don't feel discouraged. We all go through this. All software engineers go through this part where we are, oh my goodness, I can't get it through my head, right? And it's all, it will come along, once you've practiced it several times. Do a really simple hello world, just add two numbers, A plus B, and that's it, right? and so that you learn about it, right? You practice it, and then you can move forward. Okay. Okay, so let me just do a really quick example again, just to hone in the idea. Okay. Let's see. I have a lecture open recent. Where's my lecture? There we go. Okay, this is where we were playing around with midterm. Let's create a Redux directory where we can play around with Redux. We probably don't have Redux here installed. The way you install, you do npm install Redux. So that's going to be installed. Meanwhile, I'm going to create a index. We have the review. And I'm going to create a Redux directory here so we can play with that. So Redux examples. Okay, is this done? Okay. We'll also need to install Redux and also React Redux. Right. So React Redux. Okay. All right. Excellent. So so let me create here, and we'll work through this examples together. All right. So again, this is going to be the to-do world, right? Yeah, let's do to-do. Okay, so if you say to-dos here, it's adding that in there, and let's render it. Let's render it. We'll say import React, and then this will be const to-dos. Return. This will be div to-dos. Okay, and then we're going to export default to-dos. All right, excellent. In the app, well, here's index. And index, let's bring up the app. And in the app, oh, it's not in here. Where's the app? App. There we go. And here's our app. Here's the entry point to our app. We don't need any class. And we are going to just display our to-dos. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any libraries? No, we don't have any libraries there. We have app. We don't have any libraries either. Okay, we'll remove that. We don't need those two. And let's run this. And let's see what we got. All right, there's our to-dos. Okay, there's nothing much there. All right. Okay. All right. So in the to-dos, we want a collection of an array of things that we can do, right? So what we're saying is that we don't want the data to live here. We want to separate those two, right? We want somebody who handles the state of the application and is only responsible for that, right? And then we have somebody who's responsible for rendering that data, okay? And those are two completely separate skills, right? And it's best practice to separate those two so that they can be tested independently, right? That they can be implemented, maintained, all independently without them living inside of each other, okay? So on one part, you'll have the reducers, right? And on one side, you'll have the components. Okay, and let me move the to-dos is the components. Let me move that. Okay, that should still work. Okay, there it is. And the reducers, you're going to have the data part, right? So if you might have a JSON file with to-dos, right? That might be some array, right? That it might have maybe an ID. Okay, we'll have the title by milk. Okay, and whether it's done, false. Okay, and you might have a couple of these. Okay, and this might be 2, 3, 4, and this is walk the dogs. All right. Okay, so we have some data. So we already know how we would implement it if we just want to bring that over here, right? I could just import it. I can say, import, to-dos from, right? I can go up and then go down to reducers and then to-dos. I just load it up and I can just iterate over it. I know how to do that already, right? We know how to do that, but that's not the point. We don't want to do it like that, okay? Because right now this would be a static variable. I can't manipulate it, right? And also, it would only this data would only be available here in this component, right? There's no way for me to share it with the rest of the world, right? Where as the changes happen over time, as I add more to-dos, remove to-dos, there's no way for me to notify the rest of the world that this actually is happening. Okay, so what Redux brings to the table is first, it implements the best practice of separating these two concerns, right? So that they can be maintained separately, they can be tested separately. So that's really, really good, right? That's one of the biggest things about Redux, right? Is that it breaks these two apart, right? So that they can be independent from each other, right? That's very, very huge. And the other thing is that, right, once it's separated, it's very easy for me to share it with the rest of the application, right? So that parts of the application can then pick out, the pieces that they want so that they can render, as the state changes, right? So it makes it very, very easy, right, to share all the data across the entire application, okay? All right, so I don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is that I am going to create here a new file here. It's called to-dos reducer. Okay, here's where I'm going to import it. Okay, I'm going to import it. And so I'm going to use this as the initial state, right, of my to-dos. Okay, so this is going to be a reducer. This is going to be const to-do reducer. It's going to be a function, and this function takes 2 arguments, only 2 arguments. It's the current state, right, and an event, right? Those 2 things. So what this does is that what we're going to implement here is called a default to-do reducer. We're going to implement here a finite state machine, right? So implements a finite state machine. All right, finite state machine, if you remember, is a mathematical data structure, right, that maintains all the states, right, that an application can be in and how you transition between the multiple states. Okay, and the way you transition between the states is in the way of events. An event allows you to go from state A to state B, right, and you can go up and down. All right, so this gives you the current state, and based on the action, the reducer is going to calculate what the next state of the application should be. Okay, so the way we can initialize the state machine, right, is by initializing this state here. We can say equal, right, this to-dos. So that's going to initialize the state. At first, the state will be null. So this function, when it's invoked by the Redux framework, this state is going to be null, and that's where it's going to initialize itself with to-dos. If it's null, then it's going to take this to-dos. If it's not null, then it's going to ignore my initialization and it's going to just keep whatever the previous state is. Okay, All right, so the state machine is going to be written in the terms of a switch statement, right? Where you're going to have it's gonna have a switch here that, depending on what the event that comes in, right, we're going to calculate the next state, right? So usually finite state machines work on, you're in a particular state, and then a transition happens when an event occurs that puts you in a different state, right? So these are the events, the possible events, and you would write something like, what are all the possible things that I can do with a to-do? I can create new to-dos, or I can create a to-do, right? What else could I do with a to-do list? I can do I can delete a to-do, right? So I would list here all the possible things that I could do, right? How a to-do might evolve over time, right? I can create a to-do, I can delete a to-do, I can update a to-do. Okay. I can get all to-dos. Okay. And then you have a default. And the default, you should always have a default that it's a just a catch-all, that if it's none of those events, right? If it's an event that you don't know about, right? Something went wrong. I don't know. You sent me an event that I don't understand. It should return the current state, right? What this means is that, right, if you're in a particular state, the finite state machine is in a particular state, right? And it knows that it only understands several transition points of what events will it move to another state. If the event that comes in is unrecognized, well, the safest thing is to just stay in the current state. Don't change anything. Just stay where you are, right? So default, I'm staying in the same state. And these are all the transitions that would cause the finite state machine to change states. Okay, so okay, all right. So what would the to-do do? Right? It would notice that the to-dos is an array, right? What would this do? Well, it would append, right? It would append a new to-do onto the old state, right? The old state has whatever list of to-dos. Well, this one would append at the end of the to-do. It would append a brand new to-do. Now, who gives me? How do I know what my new to-do is? Who tells me that, well, I have to buy the milk, I have to pick up the kids, I have to walk the dogs. So where do I get the new to do, right? Ideally, if you're creating new data, usually you would pass as an argument somehow what that new data is. Yes. And so the way that works is that the action not only is going to have this field, the type. Now the type here is a required field. So dot type, it has to be called type, okay, by the Redux standard. So the action object that comes in here has to have at least that one field type. But in addition, it can have other things tied to the action, such as the data that you need. For instance, if you're creating a to-do, a good place to put the data, in this particular case, the to-do, right? A good place to put it is in the action itself, right? So creating a new to-do would basically be the new to-do, or the new state, right? Would be to do what? Grab the old state, which is what? The list of all the to-dos as of now, and then at the end append this new to-do, right? So basically is create a brand new array where you're going to copy the old state, which happens to be the list of to-dos, right? So I'm going to copy the old state. So I'm copying over all the old to-dos, right? Plus I'm going to append at the end the new to-do, which is going to be usually is going to be in the action, is where you pass new data, right? Or relevant data, right? So action to do, right? So now you have the new state. And so basically now you can return the new state. Okay. What else? So to delete the to-dos, usually what it is that, you know, you're going to remove, the new state should be what? The new state should be whatever the old state was minus whatever it is that you're removing, basically, right? And so the current state contains the current list of to-dos, right? So basically we need to recreate a brand new list that does not contain the to-do that we're trying to remove, basically, right? So the new state would be what? Would be const new state. Would be, so the current list of to-dos is in the state, right? So it would be the state. I'm gonna filter. So this, you remember, state is an array of the current to-dos. I'm gonna iterate over all of them. I'm gonna filter out the one to-do that I want to remove from here. So how do I know which to-do I'm removing? Well, that would be an argument that we need. Well, that I'm going to pass it in through the action, right? So the filter is going to iterate over every single to-do. So this is a function, right? Right. The filter is always a function. So basically, it's what? It's so we're going through each to-do. So I'm going to keep all the to-dos that are not the to-do that I'm deleting. Right. Basically, I'm skipping over. So I'm saying, well, which ones am I keeping? I'm going to keep the to-dos, right, that are not the action that to do, right? So I'm passing you through the action the to do that I want to remove. Right? So if it's not that one, then I want to keep it. Right? So basically, I'm calculating a new state that does not contain the to do that I want to delete, and basically I've deleted it, right? And so I return the new state. Okay. What's the matter with new state? Oh. Really? Oh, because it's here? Huh, okay. Really? I guess this would be let new state. I guess I can initialize the state to be that, right? There we go. Okay. Oh, so that's the delete, right? So the update a to do, updating a to do basically would entail so if I have an array of to dos, it would mean that I need to recreate, right, a new list of arrays, a new list of to dos that, if presumably I'm being passed in as an argument the new version of some to do. Maybe the to do is done, maybe, right? So maybe I changed the title or something, I don't know, right? And so that's going to be passed into me. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to recreate, I'm going to take the old array of to-dos and I'm going to replace the element, right? I'm going to replace the element that changed. So basically I'm recreating the array again. We're going to keep most of the old to-dos, except, right, when I get to the to-do that's going to be updated, I'm going to throw that one out and I'm going to put in its place the new one, right? So again, I can do that with the map function, right? I can say, new state. I can take the old to-dos, I can map through them, meaning I'm going to iterate over all of them, right? And as so this one takes to do, and it's an array, it's a function, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see, okay, is this to do that I'm iterating, is it the one that I need to replace? If it's not, I'm just going to keep it, right? And I'm just going to put it in the new array, right? So I'm just keeping the old one. If it's a new one that I need to replace, right, then I will take the one that you passed me in the action. Okay. So let's do that, right? So we're going to say we're asking, right, is the to do, maybe we can compare IDs, right? If the ID is right, if it's equal to the action dot to do dot ID, right? Is it? Right? Is it the same? If it is, I want this new one, right? All right, so I'm going to const new to do, or the to do, I guess. Right, so if it is, then I want the new to do. Otherwise, I want the old to do. Right, so this is the old to do. I guess we can change the name. All right, this is the old to do. Right, and in the action, you have the new to do. Right, so is it this one, the one we're updating that we want to replace? If it is, I want the new version. Otherwise, I want to just keep the old one, right? And then this is what we're going to return, the to do. Okay, and that's going to be concatenated, collated all in the new state, right? And then we can return that. Okay. Finally, get the to-dos. This is just a read operation, right? I just want the to-dos. Just give me the to-dos, and we're just going to just return the state, because it just which is, notice it's the same thing as the default. So typically we don't even need to implement that, right? We can just let it go through, not give it any action, right? And just give what the value is, right? Anyway, okay, I think this is the reducer. Most reducers are going to look something like this, right? They're going to have your 4 or 5 operations that manipulate the state, right? Usually those manipulations entail some CRUD operations of creating data, removing data, updating data, retrieving data, right? And you are responsible for calculating whatever the new state is based on those operations, right? Whether you're doing array operations or object operations or whatever, right? That's what goes in there. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so we have the finite state machine implemented, right? We have to get it to the to-dos. The to-do needs to be able to read the data and the state of the to-dos. It needs to have a plus, right, that allows me to create the new to-do. It needs to have maybe a minus or an X to remove the old to-do somehow here, right? So that I can invoke the deletes or the creates and whatnot. Yes? Okay. So let's do that. Let's do that, right? And so first of all, we need to glue these two worlds. Right? So how do we glue these two worlds? So the way we're going to glue it, right, in the app, right, we're going to, so we're already rendering the to-dos, right? We're going to grab we're going to need to create a store, right, that using the one reducer that we have here, right, and so that it can dump all that data into that into the store, and then the store, we're going to provide that store to the rest of the application. Right, so let's do that. So we're going to import the to-do reducer. Why do we have two? I think it's this one. Redux. Yeah. Okay. I will also need the create store from Redux. Right. We're going to create the store. I'm going to say const store is equal to create store, and then the to-dos reducer. There it is. Right. And then we're just going to provide. I'm going to provide that store to the rest of the application, which in this case, the only one who really cares about this is the to-dos, right? It's the only one who really cares about the state. Okay, that's it. That's the glue between the two worlds, right? So what can the to-dos, do, right? Okay. So here, if I want to pick out the data, I just need to select what data I want, right? But right now, the only data there is that array of to-dos, right? Because what's being put into the store, whatever this to-do reducer returns. What does it return? And initially, the state is to-dos. We're not sending any action, right? So it's not this, it's not that, it's not this, it's not that. It's just going to return the state, right? So the array is the array here, this array. This is what is going to go into the store. The store gets that array at first, right? When it first loads, and that array, right, is put in the store. That's the only thing in the store. It's going to trickle down, and the to-dos is going to want to select that data. And again, the only data in there are the to-dos. Okay. So let's retrieve that. And the way we retrieve it is using a hook called import use selector, right, from React Redux, right? And so we can use the selector. We're going to ask for the state that is in the store. The only thing in that is the to-do, the array of to-dos. So that's why I'm going to say to-dos here. It's already the to-dos, right? If we were putting more stuff in there, then things would go under substates, right? And then this would be a state, right? That would contain maybe to-dos, contain other things in there. But right now, the only thing in there is the to-dos. Okay, so basically that's all it returns. It returns just those to-dos. We're going to copy that into a local variable, right? And now we can display it here, right? One really easy way to display, right, is to use JSON.stringify. JSON.stringify converts any array or any object, converts it into something that can be rendered as a string, right? Stringify. Right, so if I give it a to-dos there, and we go back, notice that indeed we have those array, right? That is the array that is in there, the to-dos, right? Now, displaying this is trivial. We already know how to do that, right? That's just using React, right? That's what we talked about last week, right? Basically, it entails, iterating over this, creating maybe a UL, right? And then iterating over that array, to-dos, that map. You've done this before, right? So to-do render the list here, right? So li the to-do title, right? So those are the two elements in that array. Okay, so that's something that you've worked on already. Okay, so basically what's happening, right, is the reducer is being invoked at first, right, by the store, right, when it creates the create store calls this function. It doesn't have any state to pass it or any action to pass it. So none of these are eligible, right? So it just returns the state. The state goes into the store. Right, so that's what's generating. The put goes into the store is provided to the provider, and then components in that tree under the provider can just select what they want from that data bucket. Right now, the only thing in there is the to-dos. So we are then using it to render. Everybody good? Okay. Okay, so let's do a create. Right, let's create a to-do. Right, so we'll create a button here that will say create to-do. Right, so what we're going to do here is that we're going to handle this as follows. Right, we're going to have we're going to need a dispatcher. Right, so dispatcher, you can force an invocation. You can, just like when we created this using the create store, this function gets called. Well, we can force a call to this function, right, by dispatching an action to this, right? And then the action will come into this function, and depending on the type of action, it will execute the piece that we want, right? It'll create a brand new store, a new data will go into a store, it'll trickle down, and then it'll refresh our state. Okay. Right. So let's do it again. So here, what we're going to do is that I'm going to grab a dispatcher. So const dispatch, use dispatch like that. Notice that it's in the same package here, right? So this we can do an on click. Okay, and we can call the dispatch, right? We can either call it right here, we can call it right there, right? Dispatch, and pass it an object. We can call it right there. This is the dispatch takes as argument the action object that is going to be invoked to the reducer. So you calling this dispatch with whatever you pass in there, you are invoking you're invoking all the reducers. Right now there's only one, right? But all the reducers get invoked, right? one at a time, and the actions gets passed through all of them. And so this particular reducer is going to compare and says, oh, it's for me. It's this create to do or delete or whatever, right? So these strings should be unique across all the reducers, right? So that there's no collision between them, right? So we're going to pass here the type. It's the only required, right? I'm going to pass action, the type. There it is, the type. And the type is create to do. And I can pass in, then it's expecting inside of the action, it's also expecting an object called to do. So I can say to do, and I can break this up in 2 lines maybe. Right, the to do, I can create an object that says a new ID. Well, maybe, yeah, I guess it needs a new ID. New ID. It'll need a title, and we'll call it maybe new to do. And done equal false. Okay. As an ID, let's come up with an ID. Maybe some random ID. Okay, to make it random, we could do something like new date, right? So dot get date, right? And then maybe we can concatenate it with an empty string. Okay. All right, let's try it out. Okay, notice that indeed it's adding the to do at the end. See that? And we can also, once we're rendering it, perhaps not only the title, maybe we can also put in the ID. So just to make sure that these are unique, right? ID. Okay, there's the IDs. See that? Oh, wait, why is it always 28? Oh, the date is the date 28. No, I meant get time maybe. Okay, there it is. Some random number. There we go. Okay, everybody good? All right. So the other one, so what's happening is that every time I click this, I sent a create, I sent in the to-do object. It comes in here, the action has the to-do and it's being appended at the end of the array, and that's the new array. That gets stored in the store, right? The function gets stored with a new array that contains the new to-do. It trickles down through the provider. It gets to the to-dos. The to-do gets it, extracts the to-do, and then we re-render. See that? So the action goes up to the reducer. The reducer generates the new state. The state goes in the store is in the provider. The provider sends it here. We extract it, and then we re-render. You see that? Okay. So there's a big loop. There's a big loop, right? Let's do another loop. Let's put here a button that says delete. Okay. So again, we're going to do an on click. And what this is going to do is, again, it's going to call the dispatcher. Dispatch. I was going to have a type, right? It always needs a type. And maybe we want to delete a to do, right? Because that's what the reducer is expecting, right? The reducer is expecting a delete to do. Okay. And we might want to use the IDs to compare, not the actual objects. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pass in the action. Not all, and the action needs to have a type, which I do. I have a type, but then a second argument, right, with the to do that I want to remove. To do, right, and this will be what are we passing here? The to do object, right? The actual to do object, which includes the ID, right? All right, so let's just try it out. Okay, looks like it's working. I can create a whole bunch of them, right? And I can remove and delete or create new ones. All right, see that? And finally, we can take a look at updating, right? Maybe we can maybe we can say maybe we can have a checkbox or something, right? That says done or not, right? And so we can maybe put here in front of it, right? We could put like a checkbox, so input type checkbox. There it is, a checkbox, right? And what we're going to say is that it's checked if the to-do is done. And notice that none of them are done, right? None of them are done. So, but if we initialize the to-dos, maybe we initialize one to be true. Okay, notice that it's checked. See that? Or this one, just change that one, both of them to be true. So either both true or this one false. Okay, so it renders correctly, right? That checked works. And what we want to do is that if it changes, right? If I click on it, if I change its value, so on change, right? If I click on it, then I've changed its value. Well, I need to then make that permanent. I need to notify my overall state of what happened to me, right? That I was done, but I'm not done anymore, right? So I need to update the state, right? So how do I do that? Again, I'm going to dispatch, right? I'm going to dispatch. I'm going to say dispatch. It would be the type. It's going to be I'm updating a to-do, right? And the new to-do, the new version of the to-do is going to be what? Well, usually what we want to do is we want to keep most of the to-do is not changing, right? The ID is not changing, the title is not changing. The only thing changing is whether it's done or not, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to copy over the old to-do, because most of everything doesn't change, right? The ID doesn't change, the title doesn't change, anything other than due dates, whatever, who's responsible for that, for doing this to do, whatever, right? We're going to copy everything over. We're going to override the only part that is relevant here. Okay. Now, when you click on something, when you click on a field, right, an event is passed to you, right, to the callback function. Okay. And in that function, in that event, you're going to have things such as the current value of the checkbox or input field or whatever, right? If it's an input field, it'll be inside of event.target.value, right? Which is the value of the input field or text area or something that you're typing. Any text field or number will be value. If it's a checked or radio button or checkbox, right, it'll be under event.target.checked. Okay. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to update the done flag to be the event.target. Now, target is a reference to the checkbox itself. It's the object that it generated the event. Okay, the target of the event, right? And then here will be checked. Check only works for radio buttons and checkboxes. If you're doing an input field or text area, then it would be a value. Okay, dot value. Okay, so yeah, I'm overriding that. And so that's what's this going to do? It's going to go all the way to the reducer. Right? It says the type is update to do. So that means that this part is going to execute. See that? Because the action type, right, is update to do. Right? So what is it going to do? It's just going to go iterate over the old list of to-dos, and it's going to check to see is the old to-do, right? Is it equal to my to-do ID, right? A lot of them are going to say no, 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 until it gets to the to-do that I did change, right? And that one's going to be true. Now, if it's false, well, if it's true, if I find it, then I want the new to-do. Otherwise, I want the old to-do, and that's what this colon means, right? Is this true? Then I want this to happen. Otherwise, I want this to happen. right? And so this whole thing either evaluates to this or that, and we're storing in our local the to do variable. And that's what this returns, right? To recreate the new state, which is then returned here. Okay. So yeah, let's refresh. Let's see if this works. Okay, notice here down here, you see the state, I'm rendering the state, right? Notice that it's changing. See that? True. It's false. See that? So it is indeed, the data is coming back with a list of to-dos, and the state is indeed changing. Right, there it is. See that? Right, so it is changing over time, and I would render it, maybe changing it into a different color or to a different background or whatever, right? To illustrate that it is updated. Okay. Anyway, so that is the first part of the assignment, the to do. You're asked to implement it. We just did it for you. I'm gonna provide this code for you. I'll publish it and you can use that. Then you are asked to do a couple of things for the build. Now for the build, you had already worked on the Explorer, right? On the Explorer screen. For this one, I'm going to ask you to work for the home screen. You'll build a home screen. But before you do that, you'll be asked to create the recreate or re-implement the who to follow list, some of these, so that instead of using the array, the simple array, you'll be using a reducer. Okay. And so you'll create a reducer for the who to follow. Right. Notice that we're gonna import the JSON file. We're going to just return it because the state is not going to change. Right. It's always going to be the same list of who's. Right. You're going to create a reducer. You're going to create the store. Right. You're going to provide that store, right, to all the components. And then in the component, instead of loading the JSON file directly, you're going to use a use selector, right, which is going to extract the data from the store, right, and then it's just going to render it again. The rendering is the same thing, the same code that you already had. Okay. Now you're going to implement the home screen. All right, so for the home screen, right, it's going to be a list of tweets, right, a list of tweets, and implement it in a tweet list. Now, in previous assignments, right, especially if you're in the graduate folks, you might have already implemented this. I think we might have called it post list, right? I'm asking you to rename it to a tweet list. That's just a name change, but if you haven't implemented it, here it is. Here's the home screen. The home screen is going to have the navigation bar on the left-hand side, the list of tweets in the center, right? And then the summary list on the right. This you already have, right? This is from the previous assignment. You don't have to touch that. Well, maybe the links, you might need to touch that, right? Post summary, you won't have to touch that either. I'm giving you the source code entirely. You can take a look at the source code. There it is, right? You can copy it from here. Right. Also for the post summary, I'm also giving you the source code for that. Right. And you'll need the here's the post summary list, right? And you'll also need the summary item as well. Okay, I'm giving you all that from scratch just so you can use that. So in the tweet list, right? It's going to iterate over all the tweets, right? And the original implementation, you were doing it with a JSON file. You were loading the JSON file, you were iterating over it. So I am asking you to re-implement this using a reducer. Okay. So to implement it as a reducer, you're going to need a reducer. For using Redux, you need to get a reducer. You're going to have to add the tweets as a new reducer. You're going to have to combine it with your old who reducer, right? You have to do a select to retrieve the tweets for the tweet list, instead of using the JSON file, you're going to iterate over it and display it. And then at the top, right, we're gonna do the following. We're going to add at the top of the home screen, at the top of the home screen, so folks can tweet. Right, so you can say, what am I doing? What's happening? Teaching Redux for my web dev course. So I say tweet, right? And now it tweets the new tweet. Okay. You're also going to implement deleting tweets, so that you're going to add this X on the top right of the tweet, right? So you can click on it and just removes the tweet. See that? Oh, what's happening? It's the same array. It's the same array. Or you can remove the one here, right? And there are no more tweets. Ah. There we go. Okay, so you're going to implement that as well. So yeah, you're going to add a form. You're going to use state to handle the state management within the component, right? And then when you click on tweet, right? When you click on tweet, right, it's going to dispatch, right, with the type create tweet, a new object called tweet that contains what's happening, the text that you typed in that text area. And then you're going to have a switch that handles the creation of the brand new tweet. Right, it's going to add a random ID, right? Some default topic, username, right? Whatever, all the rest is going to copy over the action tweet, which includes the text that you typed. Okay, some images, stats, right? And then it's going to return, and the new state is going to be the tweets object that contains an array with a tweet at the top, not at the bottom, at the top, and then it's going to copy over the old tweets at the bottom of the array. You're going to implement delete tweets, right? So that you're going to have like an X on the right, top right, that invokes the delete tweet, which is sends a dispatch over to the reducer, right, to remove it. And here's your case for delete tweets. It's just a filter so that you are only keeping the tweets, right, that are not being deleted, right? You're all the tweets minus that one. Okay. Anyway. Okay, that's the home. For a challenge, right, you're asked to create a profile editor. So I can edit my profile. I don't know, did I implement that? Oh yeah, no, I didn't do that. So you can edit your profile, right? And so you can change your name, your bio, your location, and whatnot. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's A7. Okay, so I think I went a little bit over. I didn't have a chance to discuss the project. We'll discuss the project when we come back next episode. Could this system cause performance issues like if we had a long list of Redux? Oh, yes, absolutely. So this typically you would not have all the tweets obviously loaded into memory, right? Instead, you would have some kind of pagination mechanism where you consume 10 at a time, right? And so there would be some API that you would be invoking, right? And the API would be retrieving this from a database, right? And caching them and sending them to you, a few at a time, right? And as you scroll down, right, you would have an event that would then fetch 10 more and then 10 more, right? So that you display them as you go. President, I have another class 15. Can I do now? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do office hour. We do have someone who needs to leave pretty soon. Let's give the student the courtesy.
Yeah,
all right.
Professor, can I, because I have another class.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, can I share my screen?
Sure, go ahead.
Cool.
Professor, can you please enable quiz 4 for me? I couldn't join at the start of the class, so I'll just do it now.
Quiz 4.
Yeah, for the React.
Okay, just a second. Uh-oh. Ah! Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, you can share your screen.
Okay.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
No, not yet.
No.
No.
I think I am sharing.
I don't see it. Wait, let me see. No, maybe, am I sharing maybe? Let me stop sharing maybe. Stop sharing. Go ahead, you try now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now I can see it.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, yeah, it's about A6 and I cannot render it, the post list, and it says this message, but I have examined all my style props and I don't know what's wrong.
Just a second, let's see. Arrow style pro, okay, can I see this, can I see? All right, see, margin spacing, yeah, okay. You know what file is this happening?
Yeah, I think it's wrong in the post list.
Okay, can I see the style? It looks like you have a style tag in there or attribute somewhere.
Yes, but I have examined all the like style tags.
Okay, so one of them must not be correct. Let's see. Do you have a semicolon somewhere? It doesn't like semicolons. Can you go back to the error? Can you show me the error again? Margin right. Can you search for margin right? Go back and look for margin right. You have a margin right that doesn't like. Must not be that one. Can you search in your entire project? So copy that margin right. Copy that and then search in the entire project. Do you know how to? No, the whole project. No, that you're just searching in that file.
The whole project.
Yeah, can I request control?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. The other student, can you please wait? The student needs to go. I'll enable the quiz in a minute.
Okay, you can try again.
Yeah. So is it margin right? Yeah, so if you go to top, you can find in files. So can you type margin right? There we go. What directory is this? Looks like you have a lot of margin rights. 50 matches. Oh, Java. JS. There's that one. There's this one. That one looks right. This one's okay. What's this? See, what is this? Node? Oh, maybe we shouldn't do it up there. We'll do it here. Source, find in files. There we go. That's better. Margin right, margin right, margin. What's this? What is this? Oh, that's Bootstrap. Okay, bundle. No, we don't care about that. Margin right. Oh, you really do have all of them are correct.
Yeah, so I don't know what's wrong here.
Can you go back to the error?
Yes, it's incorrect.
First of all, it's a bad practice to even have style. But let's see. Style prop expects mapping from style properties to values, not a string. For example, oh, this is an example. But it doesn't tell you where it happened. Looks like it's a bootstrap. Oh, bootstrap. Can I see the code again? Can you go back? Can you see? Can you show me how you're importing bootstrap?
Importing, I think it's
Okay, where is it? Maybe an app?
Yeah.
Okay, can you comment all these three? Yeah, refresh. Okay, so JSX. Are you loading anywhere else?
You mean Bootstrap?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Go to index.css. Wait. Go to index.css.
Here?
Here. No. App CSS. No. All right, go back to the error. App. 15 frames. It's not scrolling any further. Okay, so it looks like there's another bootstrap. You still have a bootstrap render. Somewhere you're still referencing bootstrap. Web packet, report vital. Source index. Source index. React DOM. Module source index. Blah 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 blah. And can you stop and restart?
You mean the whole React app?
The application, yeah. Restart. Yeah, you still have a bootstrap dependency somewhere. Go to the code. Index. Can you comment this out? Can you restart? Can you refresh? Oh wait, let's see, comma. Okay, can you
refresh?
Refresh. Yeah, something's up with your bootstrap somehow. Yeah, try to find where you have that dependency of bootstrap.
But before I add this post list component, everything is fine because in my home screen, if I comment this out.
Ooh. All right, then let's see what's inside post. Can you look at
maybe
post
maybe because we just come out something, maybe we should like make it better.
No, leave it. Go back into post. See go into post. See what's running. So look at each one of them. Post item. Go to post item. Go to post content. Class, style, margin, action. Oh. So what I would do is that I would remove all the styles and start putting them back in one at a time to see which one fails. But anyway, it's a bad practice to have styles anyway in your code. They should have all. They should all be classes. Yeah, remove each one of them and go one at a time. See what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. I will do
Good luck.
that.
What was the student that needed the?
Yeah, that's me. Actually, I already started the quiz.
Oh, okay.
I thought I have a question in question number 3, actually.
What was it?
It's a basic class for React, but I don't understand what EFG denotes. I mean, like, we can do it without that also, right?
Yeah, it's a random text, so it doesn't really mean anything.
No, the fill in the blanks EFG, right?
Okay.
So like we can use props without that also. I don't understand what EFG denotes here.
Okay, which question is this?
Question number 3.
3. Props. Well, yeah, no, this is using the syntax, the new syntax using the class.
Yeah.
Where you do the extends and the constructor and blah blah blah.
Okay, I think it's taking in the okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, let's see.
Hi, Professor.
Hi.
Can I share my screen? I'm
Sure, go ahead.
almost done with my assignment 6. I just want to pause.
Sure, go ahead.
Are you able to see my screen?
I can, yes.
Okay, so I'm basically confused in this last part of assignment 6. We need to put these statements in the app.js file, right? These two, home screen and explorer screen.
Yeah, where you declare all your routes, which I believe it's the app.js.
Yeah, I'm putting I'm putting all these statements here, but it's not rendering in my browser. Let me show you. So it's basically gives me an error.
Ooh.
I'm not sure why is this.
Okay, let me Twitter home. Wait a minute. Can I take control?
Sure.
Let's see.
Yeah, without this, it will work fine.
Okay, can I go?
Browser, my browser, Chrome.
Is that one?
Wait, Professor. This is the.
Okay.
Yeah, wait. See, this is.
Okay, wait. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. So do you have home screen?
Yes, I have. Second tab.
Okay, so wait a minute. Practice. what is it?
Yeah, I think we have to change the link because this is the provided link.
Oh, yeah, that too,
Yes.
right? So that would be on the in the navigation, no?
Mm-hmm.
So where's that? Is this it? No, that's
No,
not it, right?
no, Professor, this is not. This is the practice
Which
part.
one is it?
The navy.
Oh, there it is. It's this one, right? So that means that explore. Oh, yeah, we didn't change this yet, huh? We haven't changed that yet. You have to change this into links, right?
Yeah, but
But anyway, but to try it, we don't need to. Okay, so this is this should be Twitter.
Twitter, yeah, home.
Explore.
So is this the same spelling?
Did I misspell it?
Yeah, TWITTER.
Oh. Like that?
Double T. Yes. Oh, it works.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you need the exact. So
okay.
this one
So
too.
I need to change this for home as well. For home screen.
Yeah, so this one, same thing. It needs the exact
Okay.
equal true. You have those done already, home?
Yeah, I done. I've done that. Why it's not working?
Active, blah, blah, blah. Why you have this here? Do you know if home actually works? Did you have tried it?
Yeah, I tried it. It was working fine for particular home screen.
So if I put here home,
Professor, we have to change the link. A6 Twitter home.
well, no, I'm rendering all the time, right?
Okay.
It's always rendering. So if you have home and this renders where is app? Browser router? Yeah, so home should be rendering all the time. Why is it not rendering? Oh, there it is. This is home. Oh, wait, no. No, where is it? Why is it not rendering that?
And I basically refresh the.
What is it?
I basically refresh the link and it gives an error.
Okay. So I think there's something wrong with home, huh?
I changed everything, I believe.
So if we comment this out, yeah, I think something's wrong with home. Yeah, what's wrong with home? So what is wrong with home? Let's see. Okay, this is home. Okay, so it's okay. Something is wrong with some other things. So let's go here. All right, let's comment these. Maybe this one. Is this one okay? Okay, something wrong with your home component, huh? Home component, post list. Ooh, what's this? Maybe it's like that. Okay, something's wrong with your post list, huh? Post list. Yeah, you have to debug this, right? Something's wrong with this. Posts, map, post item, posts. I think this should be post, no?
No, Professor, I have name as post.
Yeah, no, but it should be post. And post item is posts. Yeah, that's fine, but the variable should be that, no? You can't then then you'll be obfuscating the other variable. Post item. Class with style. That's wrong, right?
Oh. Yeah, but Professor, oh yeah, yes. I'm using this one.
Yeah, so debug this, see, make sure there's no styles, weird, right? Again, styles are bad practice. You should, all these should be classes.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, just play around with it. See if you can find anything else.
Okay.
But you see that I replaced things just to display certain things to see if it was broken, right? To identify what's wrong. Okay.
Yes, sure. Yes, Professor. Thank you so much.
All right, good luck.
Yeah, thanks. And there is one more question I want to ask. I don't know why there is no space in between home and my icon. For every other Explore notification, I have a space between icon and the word. But I don't know why it's when I put in my whole navigation bar, it was working, but now I don't know why it's changed.
You have a non-breaking space here.
Yeah, I
Oh.
put that intentionally.
Okay, this doesn't seem to have a non-breaking space.
So for this, oh, for this home comp, okay.
Yeah, the home doesn't have a non-breaking space. Or you can put a margin, right?
Yeah, but in the styling.
Something like that. See that?
Thanks a lot, Professor.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
All right, next.
Professor, I have a question is regarding Netlify. You told me you will help me when I deal with the React part.
Is this the same issue we were having on Tuesday, or is this something new?
Actually, we talked it before, but you told me you will help me when we're learning React.
Okay. Want to share your screen?
Okay.
I mean, have you been deploying to Netlify all this time or not?
Not.
You have not deployed
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah, I tried to deploy, but none of this works. And you told me you will help me.
All right, let's see. Stop participant sharing. Okay, did you want to share your screen?
I shared my screen.
Okay. And so have you deployed this to a repository?
Yeah, I deployed this to my repository.
Okay, can I take control?
Sure.
Let's see, so you have a git remote. So this is this where you have it deployed?
Yeah.
Okay, do we need to push this? Do we need to push this or not?
No, no need. Because
You don't want to push this? You sure?
Actually, I pushed it before. A5. Oh, A5, I don't push. A4.
All right. So no, because we want to make sure that what's in the repository works.
Okay.
So does this work? Do you know if this works?
Yeah, it works.
So if I do npm's, this person. All right. Thank you, Nishta.
Thank you, Professor.
npm start. So if I do a npm start, will this run?
Yeah, it will run.
Okay. Okay, I'll leave that going. Can you log into Netlify?
It worked.
Oh, it worked, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Can you go log into Netlify?
Oh, Netlify.
Can you log in?
Okay.
Are you making a new account?
No, I log in before.
Yeah, so please log in to the account you already have.
I log in.
You log in? Okay, perfect. Can you go back to your IDE?
ID.
Yeah, here. Can you stop that? Yes. Control C.
Control C.
Yeah, to stop this. Control C.
Control C.
Yeah. And let's wait, git status again. Okay, so we're gonna make sure to push this to Make sure that because this works, we'll say git add everything. Vendor components. Okay, git add. Git commit. This is going to be our latest, right? This is the latest version.
Yeah.
I'm going to push. There are a lot of stuff. You're way behind in your repository. Okay. So this is your repository. Let's click there. Okay, that's your repository, right? Wanglu, blah blah, webdev, right? Okay, so let's create a new site, and from GitHub. And is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're authorizing it to connect to authorized Netlify. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. Okay, good. And we're gonna say yes. And okay, so we're gonna pick out a repository. So GitHub. We did this already. Okay. Is that you, right? And the repo is webdev, no? Can't find it. So Wanglu 12. Oh wait, is it private? Is it public? What is this?
Oh, it's not the same git. Because okay, I will. We need to authorize another GitHub because it's not the same Git username. It's LULU and it's
oh. Oh. Okay.
because one of the GitHub is our universities and another is our.
Oh, okay. Can't see blah 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 blah. Add another authorization. Okay. Features push. Go to. Oh, I don't now. Now I don't know how to disconnect to disconnect the GitHub. Connect to GitHub repository. GitHub. No, we don't want to do that one. How do I? Can't see your organization. Check the docs. Add an organization. I don't know. I'll have to read the documentation now. I've never disconnected from GitHub.
Okay.
Wait, where is this? Is this university?
Yeah, it's our university's username.
Yeah.
And also, I always mix them up.
Create new team. User settings. Security, labs, edit settings, blah, blah, blah. Connect accounts, edit settings, GitHub. Let's remove that. Just, okay, connect. No. Disconnect, done. Not connected. Let's try again. Let's go here. Applications. Okay, create a new site. Let's see. Let's try again. GitHub.
Oh.
It's always going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to research it. Yeah, well, let's catch up maybe tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at it.
Okay, I will ping you.
Yeah, we're like in a loop now. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Let's chat tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, who else?
Hello, Professor. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, what's up?
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
I have a problem here, like our links in this page works
except this one, and it shows this failure. I don't know why. It used to work if I directly open in the browser, and when I use npm start to start the React, it doesn't work.
Wait, are you saying all the other ones work except that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so which one's the one that doesn't work?
The assignment 5 explore screen.
So home screen works?
Yeah.
Interesting. So this one's A5 Twitter home screen index. This is A5 Twitter explode screen index HTML. Interesting. So this one works. But not this one. Interesting. Can I see the two files?
Yeah, it's in the IntelliJ. I'll just get it for you. It's in the which one you want to say? You want to see?
Can I see the one that works? Home screen?
Oh, this one.
Okay. Home screen.js module. Type module. Okay. Can I see? Oh, okay. Can you go into home screen? JS.
Home screen JS.
You're importing all those, yada, yada, yada. Okay, great. All right, can you show me now Explore screen?
Okay. You want to see the Explore?
The index
JS?
first, just the index first.
Index. Okay. This one.
Okay, can I? All right, go to Explore screen JS. Well, no, that's not it, right? Explore screen JS is the one above index.html. Yeah, that one. No. Yeah, that
this one. Yeah.
Okay, so which one says that it's complaining about? Failed to load, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it doesn't say which one. Go back.
Okay. Go back.
Yeah, the IDE, no,
the
to the
IDE.
code.
Okay.
My guess is that one of these is either missing. Okay, you're loading Explore, and then Explore screen. Wait, is that right? So we are in Explore screen, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't think you need this, no? Okay, can you save that and refresh? Okay, can you go back? Explore screen. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty weird because
Oh, you did for all these, you did the same thing. You went up one and then down.
Yeah.
Interesting. You shouldn't have to.
Yeah, but somehow it doesn't work sometimes. So I just like try different way to import this.
So here's explode screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try something really, really simple. This is index, right? And I'm just going to do okay, so we know there's something wrong with the code.
Yeah.
So we can start debugging what is it that it doesn't like. And so let's okay, so something wrong with those, right? So you see what I'm doing? I'm debugging one at a time, see where the problem is.
Yeah, I see.
So you can undo what I did. You can just go one by one. One of them will tell you which one's failing. Undo what I did.
Oh, okay. I can just.
Yeah, it's not working for me. The undo is not working for me. So undo and start deleting one at a time and see which one is the one that's failing. Maybe maybe just comment this out, see if this one's okay. Then comment these two out, see if this one's okay. Go like that. Okay.
Okay, so I just want to ask, because it's really weird, because when I just directly open it in the browser, it works, but when I use React, it doesn't work. I'm not understanding why this will happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I would need to do exactly this one at a time, see which one fails. I'm sure that the certain things you brought in as React, but some didn't. I don't know.
I see.
Yeah, go through it and debug it one at a time.
Okay.
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 All right. And let me know if it succeeded or not, and then we can keep working on it. All right.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you. Thank you, Professor.
Sure. Laura or Pradipti?
I had 3 questions, but during office hours, you have either answered 2 of them or I figured them out.
Okay.
So I have one more question.
Sure. What's up?
Can I share my screen?
Of course.
Still screen 1. Which screen?
There we go.
All right. So can you see this, my mouse?
Yeah, I can see. I can see.
Okay, cool. So what does the 3 dots before that mean? Like, what is that doing?
Yeah. So dot is called a spreader operator, and it copies the content of that thing onto the. So this is copying whatever padding 10 has, and it's copying it into BG red. So it's concatenating all this. So it's putting this comma, whatever that content is. It's as if. So what is color black? Where is that? It's as if you copied this and you pasted it in here. And padding 10 is as if you copied this and you put it in there. So it's combining all this into one big, BG red.
Okay. Is there a way to comment React? the way that we can comment HTML, CSS.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, with slash. You
That'll,
can
so
add,
if I slash, it's comment.
yeah, slash or /star, like in other
Okay.
languages, same thing.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. That was quick.
All right, okay, good.
Have a good
Pradipti?
night.
Good night, you too. Pradipti, you there? You're muted, Pradipti. Aushi.
Hi, I had a question about assignment 6.
Sure. What's up?
So I started doing the build, and so I'm not sure exactly. So I was following like the instructions in the build, and I had changed like the navigation sidebar based on the instructions. But when I am doing like npm start, this is what ends up showing.
So I'm sorry, go ahead. Can you show me what you're trying to do?
Like in the instructions, it said after you do the changes to the navigation sidebar, to like run it and see if like the sidebar ends up showing. But for some reason, I don't see my sidebar when I do.
Yeah, can you go back?
Yeah, sure.
So that sidebar, isn't this like part of something bigger?
Build is where.
Okay, and build is build part of something even bigger? So this is A5, it's A6. Okay. Oh, that's big. Okay. Right. So who's including that? Where are you including that index? Isn't that part of like app or something?
Oh, so
Let's start here. Okay, app. Yeah, so you're all right. There, I don't see build here. Oh, there's build. Okay, line 25. It says /build. What's that index? Oh, build. I see. Okay, so yeah, see line 8 says build. Okay. Yeah, go down. Go down. It says that you should only see it if it says /6/build.
oh,
See line. So if you say,
you have to click on. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Okay. And then so I basically end up creating it here.
Yeah, so right. So first we do the sidebar, then you do maybe the right sidebar, and then the center. I don't know. I forget the order.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And then since it's build here, should it also be showing like hello and stuff on the build page?
Well, I think what I asked you to do is the first link at the top, that little Twitter icon. I think I asked you to link it back to this.
Okay.
I think that's what I asked you to do. I forget.
Okay,
so that you can go back and
whenever
forth between the two.
I basically, if I am creating any like such as build, I always have to call it in the app in order for it to show. Is that
Well, at some point, yeah, the router needs to, say when is it going to show? Is it going to show depending on the URL, right?
okay? Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Pradeep, are you still there? Pradeepti? Well, if you still need help, let me know, and then maybe we can chat a bit tomorrow, okay? All right, good night.